Guys, welcome to my channel. Today we're gonna learn another new things. Make sure you stay until the end.
Frozen liquid can start to boil and boiling liquid will freeze. This phenomenon is called a triple point for water. It's a bit more than 32 degrees Fahrenheit and 611 pascals of pressure. Not to get lost in Central Park in New York. Pay attention to lampposts. Each of them has a set of 4 numbers. The first to inform you about the nearest street, the remaining show whether you're closer to the park's west or east side. Odd numbers are for the west and even signal the east. Placebo. Sleep is when you make your brain believe you've slept well. If you're convincing enough, it can boost your brain performance. In 1886, a competition was announced in Paris. The winner will get the right to design and build the centerpiece for the World's Fair of 1889. The company of Gustav Eiffel proposed a project at one among 107 others. The first project of the architects from Eiffel's company was a tower with stoneware pedestals, monumental arches between the columns, poles with glass walls on each level, the top shaped like a bulb, and plenty of ornaments. That project was too complicated, so they changed it, only leaving the arches at the bottom. It took a record 5 months to finish the foundation and another 21 to put together the 18,000 metal pieces on top. You can still see it and count them all when you visit Paris. The Eiffel Tower, it looks revolutionary where it stands even today. But back in the late 19th century, it was a real sensation, for which a lot of people criticized it. Famous writers called it a tragic street lamp, a half-built factory pipe, and a giant skeleton. Now they weren't too wrong. The tower really has something in common with a human skeleton. It was inspired by a thigh bone. Carrots used to be purple in the past, with some yellow ones among them. But then people figured out that yellow carrots tasted better. Purple ones were a bit on the bitter side. Farmers started to experiment, and in the 16th century, they were already growing bright orange carrots you munch on today. Hopefully not the same ones. Acacia trees growing all over the African savanna have a natural security system. When an animal starts to gobble up acacia leaves, the tree starts to produce more tannin to the levels that are toxic to animals. Then the tree emits ethylene gas. This cloud reaches other trees and warns them about the danger so they can begin to produce their own tannin. Leap Day, which is February 29, is crucial for our calendar. Earth doesn't orbit the sun in exactly 365 days. It's actually 365.256 days, and February 29 compensates for the planet's not-so-perfect orbit. When you lose weight, your fat cells don't just disappear into thin air, they also slim down and become smaller. It works the other way around too. When you gain weight, your fat cells grow in size as well. American buffalo herds often make decisions by voting. For example, when they choose where to travel, animals would stand up one by one, look in a particular direction, and then lie down again. The slow loris, a small creature that looks like a monkey, is the only venomous primate known to people. These animals let toxin-producing glands under their inner arms and then bite enemies. But nature still inspired cool new inventions and technologies. For instance, the first high-speed rail in the world, the Shinkansen, running since 1964, was also inspired by nature, where the train was getting out of the tunnel at the speed of 185 miles per hour. It produced a sonic boom. That noise woke up people in nearby cities and scared wild animals. A group of engineers was working to solve this issue. One of them, who was also a bird watcher, suggested making the train more like a kingfisher. That bird has a long pointed beak that helps it dive in the water with almost no splashes when it's on it. They reshaped the front of the train, giving it a sort of beak, and solved the noise problem. The new shape also helped save energy consumption because it was more aerodynamic and made the train 10% faster. Train pigeons can distinguish between Pablo Picasso's and Claude Monet's paintings, and if they sit on a stool while they paint, well, you can kind of guess their nicknames. Your mind wanders 30% of the time while you're doing your day-to-day tasks. When you're walking or driving along a deserted highway, it might be even more, up to 70% of the time, with their teeny bodies and long tails. Hawaiian pizza with ham and pineapples is actually Canadian. It was invented in Toronto in 1962 by a Canadian chef. He called it Hawaiian after the brand of canned pineapple he used. Hey, I know some mushrooms that might be good with that. The Marmite Company, which produces spreads made from yeast extract, created special travel-sized. It happened because Marmite became one of the most confiscated things when people were leaving the UK through airports before trees overtook the land. Horses use facial expressions to communicate their feelings. These expressions are rather similar to those people make. For example, horses raise inner eyebrows to show sadness, fear, and surprise. They also pull back lip corners in submission or greeting, probably where the expression, "Hey, why the long face" comes from or not. Each tree in Melbourne was given a unique ID number so that residents could email the council if something wrong happened to it. But people started to send love letters to trees instead. Square watermelons appeared in Japan at the end of the 1970s. They were supposed to fit better inside small fridges. But to stay this unusual shape, square watermelons have to be picked before they're ripe. Unfortunately, it makes them inedible. Spider silk is 5 times as strong as steel of the same weight. Researchers claim that a spider's silk rope 2 inches thick could stop a fly in Boeing 747. Your nose has at least 400 different scent receptors. That's why most people can detect around 1 trillion different smells. That's 3 to 4 times as many as the number of stars in the Milky Way galaxy. Percy Spencer invented the first microwave oven in 1945. The engineer received no royalties for his invention, just a $2 payment his company gave to all its inventors. It's approximately the same as $30 today. What cheapskates. Syndrome is a real, although extremely rare condition. It can be caused by a brain injury. People who have this condition start speaking in their native language with a foreign accent. The inventor of Velcro was inspired by his own dog. He wanted to find out why birds stick to its fur so easily and noticed tiny hook-shaped spikes on them under a microscope. They catch on to different materials with loops like fur and fabric. George Stigmasterl recreated that technology and started his own company back in 1959. Ever since, the fascinating system of nylon loops attaching to tiny spikes has been used for many different purposes. Stomach and esophagus are covered with nerve cells. There are almost 100 million of them. That's more than there are in a cat's entire head. Scientists call these cells the second brain because they determine your mood and emotions. Ancient Egyptian necklace dating back 5,000 years was made from iron meteorites. They arrived from space and returned into the world's oldest iron artifact we know about. It's a rather rare phenomenon called a moonbow. A moonbow is produced by moonlight rather than direct sunlight. That's why the thing appears to be white. The largest city in the world is Tokyo. It has a population of 38.5 million people, is 4.5 times more than the population of Switzerland, and more than twice bigger than the population of the Netherlands. Sharks are some of the best swimmers in the world. They are so fast thanks to their body shape and also a special kind of skin covered in small teeth and not scales. Scientists created a film based on sharks' secret technology. When a ship is covered in it, little marine creatures can stay attached to it, and so the vessel can travel faster, and say fuel swimmers wearing swimsuits made of shark-inspired material also become much faster. They also bite harder, not really. Wearing orange for a job interview is a bad idea. 25% of hiring managers associate this color with a lack of professionalism. They prefer candidates dressed in blue, or maybe that just indicates a lack of open-mindedness of the hiring managers. The feeling it's not the first time you experience some event in real life is called déjà vu. But if you feel that you've already experienced something in a dream, it's déjà rev. Graphite in pencils is a super soft mineral. It has to be mixed with a clay binder to keep its form while you're writing. But at the same time, graphite contains the same atoms as one of the hardest materials on Earth, diamonds.
Hope you like it. Don't forget to click like or subscribe. It will help me create more. See you soon again.